Hello, and welcome to day 5 of the Daily Design Challenge. I hope you've had a great time responding to the prompt so far. And I wanted to just share with you a little bit more mindset behind designing, being a creative entrepreneur. And one of those things that I think kind of relates to the design prompt that we were talking about today, which was micro, is really looking at the next smallest step. And why is this important? Well, sometimes overwhelm can strike, right? And I don't want to say sometimes. Overwhelm is likely to strike. So it's not a matter of if overwhelm strikes, it's more a matter of when overwhelm is going to strike. And when overwhelm strikes, we want to be prepared. We want to have a strategy that can help us move through that period of overwhelm and keep going without losing too much momentum. So a strategy that I really like to use, and I got this from my mentor, Jeff Walker, is just to take the next smallest step. You don't need to map out every single step from here to infinity, to your biggest goal, to your biggest dream, which might be years down the track. All you need to do is map out what your next step should be. That's the only one that you really need to worry about. And putting those kind of blinders on and just thinking about what's that next smallest step that I can take, that can really help you move forward and to get that momentum back again and get you unstuck, get you out of that freeze moment when sometimes we're in overwhelm and we're like, there are too many things to do and I don't know where to start. Just start with the next smallest possible step that you can take. So whether that is doing one sketch today as part of the Daily Design Challenge, you might be feeling like, oh, I haven't done all of the ones up until day 5, I'm behind, which is absolutely not the purpose of the challenge. It's about thinking, okay, I can just sit down now for 5 minutes and work on this, which is in front of me, the next smallest step, which is working towards developing my design practice. And maybe your next smallest step beyond that is, okay, looking at the design that I did today, how could I start thinking about whether I can translate this into a quilt, or how could this become a quilt pattern? You don't need to start thinking about how am I going to sew it, what am I going to quilt it with, am I going to bind it or am I going to face it, any other kind of design decisions you need to make now. The only thing that you need to think about is what's in front of me, what's that next smallest step, and that's going to help you move through that feeling of overwhelm that you have so many things to still work on this particular project. And this applies to everything, not just quilting. In my business, I operate on this principle all the time. There are a lot of moving parts to running a creative business. I'm not going to sugarcoat that part of it, but focusing on that next smallest step, that really helps you to stay in that moment and really just work on what you need to do next. And that is just so important to keeping you going forward with that momentum and, not getting into that freeze kind of status in the fight, flight or freeze kind of scenario, right? So that's just what I wanted to share with you today. This is just a small mindset about designing, being a creative entrepreneur. I hope this helps you if you get into that stage of overwhelm or when you get into that stage of overwhelm. And just remember to focus on that next smallest step. So keep it simple, make it easy, and just keep going. We're on day 5, so you're doing an amazing job. And I'm going to see you again